Yo. Welcome back to another edition of the 3FOUR3 podcast, episode 84. I had to confirm that before. We've been flying through episodes, and I just want to make sure I'm not like my friend Ziad, who says we're on episode 30, but we're actually somewhere in the 80s. I'm your host, Jason. I'm back with my trusted sidekicks. Ziad, how's it hanging, bro?
Yeah, I'm all good, man. All good. Looking forward to it.
Good. Riaz, the odd one out here. How's it going?
Not too bad, eh? Not too bad. It's lovely to have you back. So, it's always a good day. And Ziad, so it's couldn't be happier to be on this podcast with two lovely Arsenal supporters.
Lovely. You immediately jump into why I said you were the odd one out. We've got two Arsenal and one Spurs. I think it's only the second time that this has ever happened. In recent times, at least. And that's strategically planned. Obviously, a massive game coming up this weekend. Arsenal against Tottenham Hotspur. It's going to be, I think, a pretty even game, but that's because Arsenal have a few injuries. I'm going to jump straight in, because it's obviously a massive game and it's a fixture that has a lot of history. It has a lot of ups and downs. Seeing as we're in the majority, I'm going to let Riaz get some stuff off his chest first, and then we'll then jump in. Okay, so Riaz, coming up to this game, I think Spurs have picked up a fair few results, maybe a draw and 2 wins, if I'm not mistaken. Arsenal with a few suspicious injuries, a few suspicious suspensions. What's the feelings before the game?
I'm not sure about suspicious suspensions, but I'll take it. I mean, whatever suspicious anythings you're going to give me, I'll take them. It's honestly, it hasn't been such a good fixture for us in the recent past, I guess. I think the last time we won was in 2022, 12th of May or something like that. Which was a bit hectic in the league now. But we also have some injuries as well. I'm not sure when Mickey's coming back. Richarlison, Solanke, I'm not sure if they'll be back as well. So I guess it's I'm not really optimistic. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not very optimistic, even though you guys have so many injuries and dubious suspension. Should we call it?
Don't put that in words, Thomas. You know it wasn't a real
well, that's not what I said. I'm just putting it there for people to, I'm not giving my opinion on it. I'm just saying. We can get into that if you want to, but I'm just saying. Anyways, I'm not optimistic. It's going to be a good game though, regardless. I think both teams play really good football, which is something that I haven't been able to say in the past couple of years. So I'm happy to say that at the very least, even though we can't score and we can't defend. It's quite ironic, actually. At least we play good football. So there's that. And
So if you can't score and you can't defend, then what is this good football you speak of? Is this where you like pass to each other and then get to the box? So outside both boxes, basically.
They just break even every game. Yeah.
So we can't do anything in the opposition box. We can't do anything in our box. We just do well in the middle part of the field. Pass nicely, press nicely. It's all good. It's better than playing most of the game in our box without conceding and then breaking to maybe score a goal at the other end. So I'll take it, but I'm not optimistic. But let me put it that way. Not optimistic, unfortunately.
But surely, I mean, look. So Ange talks about in his third season or in his second season, whatever it is, he starts to win things, and he built a decent squad last year, and I think he strengthened very well. And okay, there's a few injuries. Maybe the main signing that you had acquired, Dom Solanke, I'm not sure if he's back this week or not, but I think, and maybe you can possibly correct me, but surely this has to be some sort of silverware this season, or at least competing a bit stronger than what last season showed.
Honestly, I hope so. It's just that Yeah, just give me 1 second on that. Yeah, we are getting word from the producer that both Solanke and Van der Ven are fit. But don't quote
There
me
we
on that.
go.
If
There
it's
we
wrong,
go.
go to the producer. Yeah, I would hope so. It just doesn't seem that way. We are three games in only, and I think we overperformed last season. To be completely honest, we should have gotten fourth, even by me saying we overperformed. But I think that it's hopefully we will go deep in some cup runs. The issue is that I feel like our overall style of play doesn't really help in terms of longevity or in terms of a cup run, because it can go either way, flip flop so easily. So it's going to be very difficult to put together a cup run, especially with all the games this season. So it might be a bit difficult, but I'm optimistic in that regard. I really hope we can do a cup run, because honestly, I think that if I'm gonna like mid-season next year, if we're not in the top four still, then there might be a bit of issues coming this way. But I don't want to go too far ahead of myself. This season, I think he'll stay. We'll do decently well. I hope we get top four somehow, some way, and go deep in a cup run. That's what I'm hoping for this season.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I mean, I think back to last season, after the first month, was Spurs not supposed to win the league, eh? It was a good start to the season. They were celebrating after Sheffield at home, late winners.
What other Spurs supporters do you know? Because I wasn't celebrating.
My friend,
Hey
it
bro,
was live
when
and
last
direct.
have you celebrated? You're always like not
Exactly.
optimistic. So maybe this weekend you should have some optimism, man.
No.
Be
You'll
there
see
for
when
the
it comes to my
taking.
predictions. Yeah, you
Yes,
are. Agreed. You are there for the
if
taking.
there's
That's true.
ever a
It's a
time,
home game for Spurs, so I
yeah.
mean you have the edge with regards to players availabilities and stuff coming back from the international break. Uh
No
so
way.
yeah, man, feel a bit better. Give yourself some love there, man. Be more positive.
I like the way we're playing. I'm just in this game specifically. Like so this kind of proves exactly how lacking we are, I guess, in the squad depth, because even with all the players that you are going to be injured and missing, your team will probably still be better than our team 11 by 11 on paper. So it just kind of shows where the two teams are in kind of that respect, in terms of the build of the managers that they've had time to kind of put together a team. So I am optimistic, but no, I'm pessimistic about this specific game. But I am optimistic in general about where the squad is going. It's just that this game, like I said, even though you guys have injuries, the team is still going to be better than ours on paper. So it's going to be difficult.
No, that's fair. Yeah, well, I'll jump to Ziad now, and you talk about a team better on paper, which is fine, right? It's fine in theory, but I, as an Arsenal fan, have seen my team be better than Stoke on a Tuesday night, and they haven't come out with a win. I've seen my team be better on paper against a lot of teams, and they just haven't. So I'm not advocating for a Spurs win. I'm just advocating for a bit more optimism from your side. But also, it makes it a little more sweeter so that when we do beat you guys, I can then come back and I can really just console you in the best possible way, right? But see, bringing you in now, we're obviously coming off a 2-week period where, I mean, people don't even know what Nations League is, right? But we have had a few tricky fixtures that have come out and a few injuries that have now shown themselves. How are you feeling as an Arsenal fan going into this game? And just on the back of potentially losing Odegaard and Rice as well for this very important match.
I'm a glass half full, man. I actually like these types of things because it shows what the squad is made of, whoever it is. I have that next man up mentality, man. So I don't care who's injured, who can't come to the game, who's stuck in traffic, whatever the story is. Listen, who's available, who can get on the pitch, and that's the guys we're gonna go with. So for me, the thing that I'm really interested to see is whether or not Arteta sticks to the system that he's been using,
Yeah.
since forever, or is he tempted to switch to a back three, which could give him some more options considering the players that he has available. And then also a lot of talk about who takes Erdegaard's spot. So if he sticks with the same system and formation, does it mean Sterling goes in there? Does it mean Trossard goes central? And if he does change the formation, then what does he do and who does he put where, which could be very interesting. And yeah, if he decides to go with Nwaneri, I'm also fine with that, man. I like the youngsters. There's a lot of stuff going around with, when Fabregas got thrown in and Wilshere got thrown in. There's talk that Wilshere is coaching there, so he might as well be registered, and he can come in as an injury replacement. I didn't hate that, but baller. But I mean, at the end of the day, whoever's available, gotta make it work. It's actually better it's an away game because I think you can set up a bit differently and not have the crowd on your back if you decide to go and play on the counter, play a bit more tight considering we got 7 left backs or whatever in our squad.
You won't do that. You won't do that.
No, I don't think they will, but two options. So it's going to be interesting. A long wait till Sunday for the game, though. But yeah, man, is what it is. Let's get it done. If we come away with 3 points, all good. But I reckon I wouldn't be disappointed with a draw considering who we have out and who we have available. Another interesting thing, just to throw it to you, Jason, who do you think is going to wear the captain's armband? Because Erdegaard is out. I can't remember who the designated vice captain is. Who do you think weird from the suspended box that he's going to be sitting in watching the game? Yeah. So who do you reckon is going to wear the armband? I was just thinking about that.
Look, I'm gonna come to the captaincy thing. I was thinking about you saying we can go 3 at the back. We've got 15 defenders. I think we must go 6 at the back. Right? That's probably
that the best. Can also work. But 3 at the back, 5 at the back, same thing.
Yeah, and then and literally just sit and let's see what Spurs are actually made of. In terms of captaincy, I think it has to be Saka. I think in recent
but I also think that, but in the past, Jesus has worn the captain's armband, Jesus, whichever you prefer. And I feel like I've seen Jorginho trot out with the armband at some point. Am I right there? Or?
No, it's I think he's become the I wouldn't say auxiliary captain, but once Odie goes off and once Saka's off,
they give it to him.
Takes it, but I don't see why Saka wouldn't be, because he's probably one of our most influential players. So why not stick it on him in a North London game?
No, I'm with you.
And in his previous games, he's been the focal point. I think back to last season's away game. What is it? 3-0. Yes, correct me if I'm wrong there. Thanks. I actually knew the score from the start.
I was actually wondering if Riaz is going to say.
It was actually 2.
The Men in Black zapped his memory or what?
Yeah.
It was 2.
Saka took quite a bit of flack from the fans, and I think he almost rose to the occasion. So in this time where he now needs to take the team on his back, which he's been doing since, I think, in the deep parts of COVID when Arteta was close to being sacked. I don't see why.
They could have made him the captain when he had 77 on his back already.
No, but then we had the
Granit and his
Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang.
And now Ballon d'Or nominee Granit
Xhaka. I think it has to be Saka, man. At the stage where he's probably been the most consistent player over the last 3 to 4 to 5 years in a game of this magnitude, I don't see why not.
Yeah, because I mean that player is gonna have to be captain. The talk is that Odegaard's gonna miss about 7 games. So if it's like Jorginho, who's not gonna be in the team a lot. It would be interesting to see where they go with it. Another question for the two of you. I've always had this thought that Benjamin White, because our producer saying his full name here in my ear.
Yes.
Ben White has the capabilities to play central midfield. So we've got Zinchenko also comes inside. I believe Timber can also play midfield. Especially in that 6 role, I guess, right? That's what I'm going for. I'd love to see some tinkering that sees one of those defenders going to the midfield, just for interest sake, to see what it looks like. I don't know what you guys think about some of these guys playing in that position.
I'll take this if you want me to, because I love talking about Arsenal.
Go for it, Basuma.
I think that the main issue is because Odegaard is now out, I think the main issue isn't the six, because I think you guys have a lot of players to kind of cover there, like you say, with the players like Ben White, Timber, and Zinchenko, who can all come inside if they need to, along with Partey and Jorginho as well. I think the issue is going to be who's going to play in the 10 spot, because Odegaard is the playmaker that kind of makes everything happen around there. He's also the first man of the press who goes with Havertz in to initiate the press. So I think that is going to be more of a kind of a concern, where who is it? Fabio Vieira, maybe. I guess you can drop Havertz in there and play.
Hey, bro, Vieira's gone on loan back to Portugal.
Oh goodness! So who's the playmakers that you guys have in the 10 position? That's, I think, the main issue that you guys are going to play, unless you drop Havertz in there and then play Jesus up front. But I think the sixth role is going to be, no matter where you play there. I think, first of all, your question, I think all of them can play there. All three of the back line can play there, and it would be good to see. Just for like, but they can't play there alone, right? They'll need either Partey or Jorginho next to them as well, and then kind of a free roaming 10. But I don't know what tens you, because you saw Smith Rowe as well. So
this would have been like the perfect game for him to come back in, get his spot back, and then never give it up again. But before Jason, I think Riaz covered that quite nicely. So I want to ask you something. What is the 10 that Riaz mentioned now? What are your thoughts on two up front? Could you use that Havertz as like a second striker with a Sterling and have them switch, or Trossard? Could you play two up front, or is that too much of a change to a system to make?
I think it's maybe a bit too much of a change. I think we've developed this way of playing with the wingers coming in, fullbacks bombing. So the two strikers kind of changes that dynamic and the spaces that they need to be occupied and actually get occupied. Havertz could go into the midfield. I'm trying to think. I think Jesus is past fit, so he starts. We probably don't play Sterling from the get-go, but I'm not mad to have him coming off as an impact just for this first few games, and then obviously we'll then rotate around and figure out how we'll sort out this midfield situation. Thankfully, Declan's back in like the very next game, so it's fine. But I think
2 weeks.
The two strikers, it almost worked, but it didn't when City tried it with Haaland and Alvarez.
Yeah.
So I don't think we've got enough evidence of how we want to play and how the two strikers somewhat limit that. But if there's ever a game that we could possibly try it and maybe get away, it's probably against Spurs, eh?
Exactly. That's what I was thinking, bro. If we're gonna take a risk away to Spurs, because the excuses are all pretty much sorted. Like, oh no, we didn't have enough, blah blah blah. Not that I advocate the excuses, but
in the same breath,
get away with it.
We need to be near perfect to win this league. So these sort of games are the ones that really determine and set things in motion for you. And especially in this first 15 where we've had really tough fixtures, right? We've beaten Villa. We were supposed to beat Brighton. That's fine. You almost earmark that game. You earmark this game to win. And then when you go to City next week, you're almost like, okay, then you can actually play for a draw, maybe sneak a win there. But if we're going to go here and say, if we lose and if we're going to try something, I think then we're going to be problem.
You see, that's that nonsense mentality that I don't want to hear from you. You need to go to City, and win the game. Win the game, and then it's a 6-point swing. All you need to do is beat City once, and it's a 6-point swing. Don't give me that. Like last year, you went to City, you went for the draw, you drew the game. Did you win the league? No. Go there, beat them, and make sure you win the league. I don't want this nonsense.
It almost feels like this, but it's actually the Arsenal supporter, and we support.
Yeah, honestly, man. Maybe you must come around here. I have a few jerseys here for you, man. Wear it.
He's more passionate. He's more passionate about us than he is, Steve.
Yeah.
I think we might have a Sol Campbell here.
Yeah, easily.
We'll get him in free agency.
To win, man. I don't want City to win. That's and I do like Arsenal. So
why I'm speaking almost like it's just I don't think I can do this anymore. Bro, my whole childhood now has been dominate until March. Then you you mang in the Champions League, you go out in the FA Cup, you lose in the Carabao or then League Cup. Whole league thing falls apart. Like I'm old
Well, okay,
now.
let me put it into terms that you can understand, right?
Okay.
Or relate to. See,
Okay.
Scotty Scheffler is the number one golfer in the world. For the
Yeah.
past 3 seasons, he won everything except the FedEx Cup. This
Yeah.
year he went all the way, bruh. Olympic gold medal, FedEx Cup. So it can happen for us also. We don't need to just get to
I'm
the end and
100%
fail.
believing that. But it's still getting me to that point of like, okay, April, are we still in it? And I think the games against your top six become so important when the margins are so small in the overall league. Especially with, and I'm not saying that I don't think we can discount Liverpool, even though Slots in his first season, I think they have a terrific team at this moment in time. They haven't been tested really yet. And that's with all due respect to Man United, but it wasn't much of a competition there, right? If I don't have any producer, but I can hear him even if he's like 5 minutes away from me. I can hear him shouting. Yeah, I think they will do something this season.
Yeah.
Even if their fans are gonna hide behind the fact that it's his first season and he hasn't bought this. There's a team there, and they will compete.
Yeah, but I don't know what that's about. I mean, I think they're playing fairly well, but they're doing well with that guy. He's unlocked a few of the players, like Gravenberch.
Yeah.
The guy's a different player completely under Slot. So he seems to be doing all right, eh? Not too bad in his start.
No, so why I obviously brought him in. It's not that I got my way to talk about Liverpool. It's just that the margins are fine. So the pessimism that I have is because you have to beat your nearest rivals. But I think where we threw it away was losing against Fulham. Like Fulham taking points of us both games. West Ham taking points of us. Villa taking points of us both. So it's like those the fine margins. So a game like Spurs where you must get a win, obviously, because it's North London derby. You take that, and then next week you almost go in like, we can set up and we can play on the counter and we can. And yeah, that's the. But maybe it will change. It is only we are recording this a few days before the game. Maybe I'm supremely optimistic by Sunday, and then even more optimistic by the following Sunday. So that's only something that time can tell.
But I mean,
yeah, just
if just so quickly, and I know that you're saying that winning against the top teams are important, and it is, but that's given you have to beat the small teams like us and Brighton in the first place.
Yeah.
You have to actually get 3 points from Brighton and from Spurs like that. Yeah. I know taking the top 4 teams is like obviously a 6-point swing, but that needs to be, and that confidence you need to go with to City. Because I'm not going to be on next week's episode, I'm telling you now, go and win it. Go and win it.
Okay, fair. Okay, so then just before we get into predictions, just from either of you guys, just to pick out a key battle or a key player that we really need to keep an eye on for this game, who's a potential game changer, influencer, really going to dictate things. Siad, let me go with you. So from either side, maybe.
Dictate. I don't know. I think it's gonna be difficult. Obviously Saka's our main player, but I think they're probably gonna be locked in on him. So I'm gonna go with. I think it's gonna be important to set the tone at the back. So Saliba coming off that disappointing performance, France versus Italy. Get some form back, and he's gonna have to really be solid at the back. To deal with whatever Spurs have to throw in, and just to get that confidence, because the longer the game goes with that clean sheet, the more confident we get, and then I reckon a good chance for us is also to score off the set pieces. So if him or Gabriel can get up there and make one of those corners count, that would be terrific. From the Spurs perspective, I think I'm going to stick with the centre backs, Van der Ven, especially with the pace that we have out wide. I think he's going to be critical, and he is super fast.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Riaz, are you going to echo that Van der Ven shout, or are you going to go with like a Sonny boy?
I mean, he is my favorite person in the whole wide world besides Johnny Reinders. Of course, he's the key player for us. I mean, we saw what happened against Newcastle. He wasn't there, and we got completely done on the through ball. That high line is super difficult for us to play, and against players like Saka and I guess Trossard, who's going to play on the left. Whoever plays on the left, I think is going to have a field day because it's very difficult for Porro to the attacking right back to kind of come in and fill that space. Whereas I think on the left, I think Van der Ven does a really good job at protecting Udogie. So I think that even though Udogie doesn't really need protecting, because if I recall last season he had Saka quite a bit in his pocket, so I think that was okay. That battle was fine. So yeah, I think on the right hand side, Porro might struggle a bit with whoever's his winger. But I think it's going to be won and lost in the midfield. I think that's the key battle.
We just got bodies, so the advantage is there for you.
Yeah.
We might have bodies, but the bodies are still kind of a bit better than ours. We don't know what we're doing there in the midfield. We want to give the ball away left, right, and center. But I think the midfield is going to be crucial. Depends on we start. Bissouma and Saul will probably start. But look for some Bergval and Archie Gray. The youngsters will probably come on for the debut, for the North London debut towards the end of the game, especially if we're trailing. And they look good this season so far. So the midfield will be crucial. I think if whoever plays at 10 for you guys, if they come off and they play really, really well, then I think they'll
I actually like that you went with the midfield because he said that they play good football, but not in the two boxes. So he stuck to
there's at least some consistency. Yeah, no, 100%.
I'm just talking out of my battle. Yeah, come on, guys.
That's all good shouts. I think the defensive element, the height factor that we had last season. I'm gonna pick out Kai Havertz. In the game against Brighton, when we went down to 10 men, I saw a side of Kai that I hadn't seen before. A real grit about his game, a real willingness to put in those hard yards. I think there'll be a lot of emphasis on him because he seems to have found this groove, right, where he pops up with key moments in all of our games this season so far. So I'm earmarking him to be sort of I'm not going to say our game changer, but somebody that's really going to contribute. In terms of the Udogie Saka thing, I'm not sure about that. I think the stats don't lie. But it's fine. If that's what he took out of the game, then that's okay. I think that's just me speaking from I'll always protect Bukayo Saka. I think for the Spurs side, it's definitely midfield. Yeah, my captain. All right. From the Spurs side, there's definitely midfield has to be pivotal for you guys, especially if we're missing both Declan Rice and Odegaard. There's definitely a window to win that space and then just free up whichever wingers play, be it Brennan Johnson, Kulusevski, Son. If Solanke is back, Richarlison, it's just, that's where most of it gets won. So, depending on who you pair and who starts and depending on the sort of performance that they put in, that then determines the whole sort of flow and game that you guys have. But that's that. We just want to get a few quick predictions before we wrap this one up. So Riaz, give us your honest Arsenal prediction as a closeted Arsenal fan. What do you think the score is going to be on Sunday?
I really that just set me off now because I was actually going to go 3-1 Arsenal, but I'll stick to it. I'll go 3-1 Arsenal.
Okay.
Do I have to say what I think the score will be or what I want the score to be?
You can, give us both even.
And then I also want to give both.
I reckon it's going to be a draw. I'm feeling very drawish about it. But 2-2? High scoring, 2-2, yeah. 2-2. I wanted to be wild and go with 4-2, 4-3 or something ridiculous like that. But I'll keep it mellow and go with 2-2.
Okay. So I went with 3-1 because it seems like 3-1 will be a thing. But I'll take a 2-1 Spurs any day if you want to give it to me for the field.
I'm giving you nothing, bruh.
Give me a draw. I'll take it. I'll take a draw.
Maybe if you wear a Spurs shirt, I'll give you something. But until then,
nah, that's fair.
Or show us that grass from White Hart Lane.
Do you have it still?
Apparently, bruh. He planted it in the backyard.
Don't tell me they're going to come knocking at my door, coming to scowl me.
Yeah, maybe Big Brother shouldn't hear about this part that he stole grass from the stadium. Okay. So for my predictions, I'm going Arsenal 2-1. But yeah, what I'm feeling, I mean, that's what I think's gonna happen. But I have a sneaky suspicion also about that draw. I just think Spurs will be up for it, and that can be very unpredictable. It's probably them and Chelsea are probably some of the hardest teams to play against because you genuinely don't know which team turns up. So in that unpredictability lies sort of a sneaky element to them. So
yeah. But I think the difference there is at least you don't know what you're gonna get from Spurs, but Spurs know what they're gonna get, whereas Chelsea don't know. We don't know what we're gonna get, and they don't know. So I'd rather be in the Spurs side than Chelsea.
Nah, for sure. Yeah, you start the week thinking that you're gonna play, and then you realize you're actually fourth choice left back behind 3 guys that only came in August, and then it's like, rough, terrible, absolutely terrible. But yeah, that concludes a very short and sweet preview for North London, the massive North London derby game. Riaz, where can the people find you venting on Sunday?
Yeah, come and tell me why I'm a closeted Arsenal fan at Poca_Riaz on Twitter and at RiazPoca7 on Instagram. Yeah.
Perfect. Ziad?
Yeah, I think I'm with Riaz on that one. I need to figure out this username stuff because it's Coach Ziad on X, but X is dying. So come on Threads and find me there at Ziad Parker 7. And let's talk. Let's talk.
Lekker. At Jason_Ronnie on almost all platforms. I'm not going to talk to you on Instagram. That's a bit weird. But yeah, X, Threads. You can find me on TikTok there as well. You can find us at sportycast. We are growing. We are thankful for the support. So all the likes, all the comments, all the subscribes. It really warms our heart. Please be sure to look out for more content coming. We've got the new format of the Champions League. So if you're wanting to figure out and join us along for the journey where we try to figure out what this new format means, please look out on all of the timelines. We'll be posting that in next week sometime. So yeah, from us at Sportycast, thanks and have a good one.